Hey everybody, welcome to Athens, Greece. I'm standing on top of the Acropolis in the center of town with the Parthenon behind me. It is extremely windy today, so I apologize. But this is the heart of Athens, it's the heart of Greece. No trip is complete to Athens without coming to see the various buildings up here, which are over 2,000 years old. I could talk for hours and hours probably about the various architecture, the history here, but I'll just give you a couple quick stories. One is that the Parthenon behind me, over to my left, was a building of great importance. It was before, when Athens needed a patron god or goddess, they were trying to figure out what to name the city. And the legend is that Poseidon and Athena both vied for the honor, and they presented the citizens of the town with various gifts to try to win their favor. Poseidon took his trident, and it's reported, the legend is that he struck the earth and salt water came out, and one of his gifts was salt water. That didn't do much good for the Athenians. He also gave them, the future Athenians rather, he also gave them war horses, but the citizens really weren't too interested in that because they weren't interested in fighting a war or wars like which are sure to come in the future. Athena, on the other hand, she gave the people the olive tree, which they were actually very impressed with. They said, okay, we can cook with it, we can make oil, we can eat the olives, and hence they awarded the patronage of the city to Athena. In Greek, this is called Athena, and that's how the city of Athens got its name today. So the Erechtheion is a monument to that legend there, and it's very old. It's over 2,000 years old, like I said. The Parthenon behind me, which is of course of far greater importance, a lot of people don't realize this, but this was actually the second Parthenon built here on the Acropolis Mountain. The original one was about right here, right behind me, and it was destroyed several years prior to the construction of this one. What happened was that in 480 BC, when the Persians finally broke through the lines at Thermopylae and defeated the Spartans, they came down here to Athens, and they eventually destroyed the city. They burned everything to the ground, including getting up here on the Acropolis and wreaking all kinds of havoc. Actually, when they entered the city, they were kind of in for a surprise because they found it to be deserted. The only time real windy here. In all of Athens' history, the city's only been evacuated twice. One was then, and the other one was at a low point of the Peloponnesian War when Sparta fought Athens. So they came in largely unopposed. There was a small group of priests and soldiers here on top of the hill who held out, and they were eventually overwhelmed, and the original Parthenon was destroyed. After the war ended, Pericles entered into a huge public fundraising campaign to rebuild a greater and grander Parthenon in Athena's honor, which is what we have today behind me. And it was built in 344 BC, I believe. It was construction had begun. It's pretty amazing. It doesn't sit on a foundation. All of the pieces of the columns are loose, and because they actually accounted even back then, they accounted for seismic activity, which is why it still largely stands today. It was blown up through there was a cannon battle between the Turks had it, the Ottoman Turks. They had stored their gunpowder munitions inside, and Venetian forces on the opposite hill, which you can't see behind me, it's on the other side of the Parthenon, Philippopolis Hill, they hit it with a cannon, and then they blew the roof off, and that was in the 1600s, and of course it's never been the same here, but they are trying to reconstruct it. One thing that I will say in closing about the Parthenon itself as a building, or more of an ideal than a building, is that when you compare it to other landmarks throughout the world, to the Great Wall in China, the Great Pyramid, the Colosseum in Rome, excuse me, these are all feats of engineering that are unparalleled in human history. I have not seen the Great Wall in China. I very much hope to one day. And it is probably the biggest engineering feat of mankind, of all mankind. Over 1,500, almost 2,000 miles long of constructed wall. But consider its application. It was built for a martial purpose. It was built for war, rather than defending, right? The Taj Mahal, which I've personally gazed at, it's one of the most beautiful buildings that I've ever seen on the entire planet. It was built for one man's obsession with his wife, for his third wife, for Shah Jahan's wife. The Great Pyramid at Giza, Khufu's pyramid, was built because of one man's hubris, because of one man's ego. He wanted the whole world to see generations and millennia later that he was here. And lastly, the Colosseum. Again, I've been there, an amazing feat of engineering, and construction, consider what happened there, right? It was a place where men fought beasts, beasts fought beasts, men fought men, and beasts tore small children apart because their parents were Christians. It was a place of blood sport. It was a place of death. The Parthenon, when you consider all these other buildings worldwide, the Parthenon was the only one that was different in that it was a place of civic gathering. It was a place of worship. People came to here to worship Athena, the patron goddess of the city. They came to listen to debate. They came to hear messengers and heralds report the news of the day. They heard musicians. There were festivals held here. This was a place of civic gathering. It was a place of culture, and it was a place of civility too. So, in the pantheon of buildings worldwide, really the Parthenon does stand apart from all the others when you consider its intended purpose. So, if you ever get a chance to come up here, one thing I do recommend is come up very early in the day, if you're here in the summertime, or very late in the day. We came up at about 5:30. The lines were not bad at all. It is really windy, as I said. Sometimes the heat in the middle of the day is absolutely unbearable. But if you come to Athens, please do not miss it. It really is a wonder to see. So thank you very much. Catch me on my YouTube channel at Herodotus Reward, and we'll see you soon.